first official movie review here on this channel. Hey, what's up YouTube? It is Box Office Network. I'm your host, Quincy Beard Brooks, and today we will be talking about Iron Man. Now, before we get into this video, make sure you read the description first. Always read the description, always, because because that's when you'll know when the next movie is, and the disclaimer. Yeah, you know. And also, I'll tell you the setup of how we do each of these reviews. So, I'll start off with the video by talking about the movie a little bit, saying, the premise, and then I'll do how I judge these movies. How I judge these movies are by their stories and their characters and their characters' motivations. I'm not going to go in depth with each character in each of these reviews. I'm going to mention their names, but I'm not going to go in depth with each individual character because that's a long drawn out video and you ain't got time to sit here. I'll talk about the story, I'll give you, and then at the end I'll give you my thoughts, and then I will rate this movie from a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being the best and 1 being the worst, just like IMDb. So, let's start with this review, Iron Man. Now, Iron Man was a 2008 hit in the box office. It was one of the greatest movies of that time. It kicked off what we have now, the MCU. It was a phenomenal movie starring Robert Downey Jr. This is what made him as popular as he is now. He was pretty popular. This boomed that. So, we're going to jump right into the story. So, the story is Tony Stark, billionaire playboy, gets kidnapped by a terrorist organization, and after he escapes that terrorist organization, he shuts down his weapons program from his company and becomes the new hero, Iron Man. The story flows perfect. I feel that could be some work with how the story is structured. I kind of see some of the issues, and they're easy fix. Like, we jump straight in to Tony being it straight into Tony getting an award, and then we look at him, and then you how is he going to get an award when he's like a douchebag, And we don't really get to see him that much as a douchebag. Yeah, we get to see him as a gambler, and then he kicks some girl out after having a one-night stand with her. But other than that, I mean, you can say, oh, that's douchebaggy, that's mean. It's not as much douchebagginess, should I say, that we should be having. But the story flows perfect. I love the way they structure the story. It's out there, and it's just this is your story. It is a man gets kidnapped. After he gets kidnapped and escapes, shuts down his weapons program, and becomes Iron Man. Becomes this brand new hero, and it was perfect. I loved it. I love this movie. The story was awesome. It wasn't perfect. Now, like I said, it could have some work on it. And you may see it. And there's this weird. So we start off with present movie. It's kind of weird because it's like you're starting off with the present movie. I know when I say it starts off so what I mean by the very first scene that's not Tony getting kidnapped is Tony getting an award. That's what I should have been. I should have been more bland about that. So he and it's weird because it's there's him getting kidnapped is the present movie, but then him getting the award is a flashback, and it feels jumpy. But then after that, the movie and it gets into the story and the plot. It's really, really, and it gets you on your edge of your seat, and it's like, oh, yes, I waited, and this is perfect. Now we get into the characters. Now, every character has a flaw. Every character in every movie has a flaw. There is no perfect character. There are people who have flaws. Tony, it's hard to find his flaws because he takes the role and he makes it his own role. And Robert Downey Jr., he takes it. So Tony Stark is this billionaire playboy. And maybe we know, and I wish they would have gave us more of why he's a douchebag. Maybe to have a flashback with his parents, but then that already adds to the pretty much half of this movie, like a quarter of this movie being a flashback. It's weird. It confuses you a little bit, but he's got all this money. He's got the women. He's got the limousine. He's got the company. He's living. He gets kidnapped, and then he learns that people have lives too. Like he meets a dude who says he wants to go see his family, and then it turns out his family's dead. He tries his best to save his another friend. Turns out he knows he can't save everyone. So it matures him, and he's like, okay, people have lives too. So he shuts down his weapons program because he feels like his weapons are destroying lives. Well, the terrorist organization has the weapons. His character is so good, man. It makes you just want to watch the movie for him, because this is one of 3 movies that has it's about him, and it's in the first half of the universe. I'm disappointed, but it leads up to the big climactic moment at Avengers Endgame, so it probably makes sense. Other characters, though, he really barely has any flaws. The other characters, they have some flaws, like Obadiah Stone / the Ironmonger, played by Jeff Bridges. Now, Jeff Bridges gives if it was someone else, I would probably point out more flaws. Because it's Jeff Bridges, though, it works perfectly. This is the dude who played the old man in The Giver. That man we sympathized. Well, first he started out as this menacing villain, but first you don't think we know he's going to be the villain. If you haven't seen the trailer, even if you haven't seen the trailer, you know he's going to be the villain. He's just got that look. He's just got that villain talk. But he acts like chill. He's like, he's hanging out with Pepper and Tony, and he's playing the piano. You think, well, dang, this is a chill villain. And then he turns all of a sudden, then we just see he's menacing. Maybe show that he is menacing, or maybe show his menacing side and his chill side at the same, in the movie. Like flashbacks to him being a villain, then him being, or not flashbacks, parts of the movie where he's being a menacing villain, part where he's being just a chill dude, acting. Not just, hey, he's going to be chill, that's psych, he's a menacing villain. He eventually becomes the first ever villain in the MCU. We have to respect Jeff Bridges for this. He's the first villain in the MCU. The Ironmonger. And I love when the Ironmonger comes out, because it shows what villains are not as smart as we take them. Unless you're Thanos, or Eric Killmonger, or Hela, or Vulture. You know what? The villains are smart. We're gonna put that. This one wasn't as smart. You see, he doesn't know how Tony's Iron Man, so yeah, he just jumps into it, and that makes sense. Villains do that. He makes a perfect villain, but his character doesn't make the perfect character. And James Rhodes, what problems he has is just he's trying to be more like the mentor than the friend. I would have him maybe be the support. It's like, I want to help you, not I want to mentor you, show you the way. He's not like, now I'm over exaggerating, he does not blatantly say, you have to do this, you have to do it like this. No, he's like, are you sure about this, Tony? I don't think you should do this. Like that. And Pepper Potts kind of suffers the same thing that Jeff Bridges' character did. See, Pepper first says, Tony, your weapons, they're dangerous, maybe you shouldn't do it. Tony shuts down his weapons program. He's like, okay, I didn't think you would do it. Now we're going to lose all this money. I quit. Tony gives Pepper back. Maybe that's not the best. Maybe put more to it. Instead of, I quit. Pep talk. I'm back in. Like I said, this movie was not perfect. I just poked myself in the eye. But yeah. So, this movie was not perfect. It's not perfect, and she's not a perfect character, but oh my gosh, it's still a really good movie. And to cap off all the characters, the side characters, the reporter that Tony, gives a little This is why this, yeah, he gets the for a night, even though we don't see him do the. Okay, I'm gonna stop. But yeah, she's in the movie for like 2 minutes. I think I actually counted 2 minutes. Like, I counted 2 minutes of her being in the movie. Maybe it'd be the rival love interest or something. You're wasting a really good character. You know, I forgot her name, but this is a really good actress. You wasted her, man. You wasted her. And then, you know, every other Happy Hogan was barely even in the movie. I think I counted him being about 2 minutes in the movie and a few lines. And the actor was the director of this movie. You could have done so much with Happy Hogan. Or let him, how about you have him be James Rhodes of this movie? I mean, seriously. You could have had so much more. But, and the side characters, they don't play a big role. Now, the one thing I'm not talking about is the terrorist organization. Because the terrorist organization, they disappear halfway through this movie. After the first half, they all disappear. But they didn't really do. I didn't like them. I didn't like the way they acted. I didn't like the way that they, you know, literally came out of nowhere in the first half. I would have had maybe, you know, a little tiny part where they say, it's like one is like, all right, he's in one of those trucks. He got to get them. And the other one goes, alright. And then it pans, and then the blow up and the stuff. Not just, hey, boom, hey, there's a terrorist organization, come here. And they don't even mention themselves as terrorist organizations, which that's what they are. That's what I'm calling them. So, that's really the only flaw I had with the terrorists, with any other, you know, characters in this film. Really just terrorist organizations. We really didn't need them other than the fact that they needed to kidnap Tony and then have Tony just, like, kill him off on accident. If you want to. I mean, that's what I would do, but I wasn't the director of this film. So my final thoughts. This movie was really good. So good, man. It was the first real good Marvel movie that we had. We had Spider-Man 1. And remember, this movie came after Spider-Man 3. After Spider-Man 3. Okay. Yeah, you have your Spider-Man, you know, I think that's the only really good Marvel movie, Spider-Man. And then Iron Man came in, and it's like, yes, we got a good Marvel movie. So, but yes, on my final thoughts, this movie was really good. Robert Downey Jr. nailed it out of the park. You know, he's like Doctor Strange. It's like he was made for this role. This movie has its funny moments, it has its serious moments, and it has its adult moments. So, just like this movie, this movie was PG-13. That's what this channel is. If you under 13, get out. But, and like I said, how we rate these movies, 1 to 5. I'm gonna rate this movie 4 out of 5. I thought this movie if it would have done better, it'd be having a 5 out of 5. If it just fixed those tiny ones, just those tiny problems, and they did it right, this would be getting a 5 out of 5. What a way it would have been to kick off this channel. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. Leave a like, please, if you like my content so far. Hit the subscribe button, and in the comments, the comments aren't just like a big thing, but in the comments, give your thoughts on Iron Man movie. What do you think? And I'm always up for corrections. If you think I messed up on something, tell me in the comments nicely. And if you think I forgot anything, give me some more. You know, I may add into and maybe a re-review. You know, a re-release of this review. You know, not a re-release, but like a remake of this review, maybe. So. Alright, that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit the subscribe button. I'm Quincy Beard Brooks, and this has been Box Office Network. Peace out.